that Charlie Vincent was back and that you be joining them.
Yeah, man. I mean, how ugly is this beard, man? Picture my wife won't even make out with me now. So I had this beard. I'm not kidding. It's terrible.
Would anyone out there make out with Jon?
Nah, stop all that shit. You got a nice beard. Like you put like beard balm in it or something?
I did put some beard balm just for you, Jon.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time with this fucking beard. No, I mean, look, you know, I mean, I don't know, you know, Frank Castle, that, you know, man, it's just that, you know, he means a lot to me, you know, and the folks that love him mean a lot to me. The resonance it has in the military community, the law enforcement community, the comic fans. I think there's a little bit of Frank in everyone, and it's daunting, and I'm just super humbled by it, and I hope that we can get it right. You know, if you're gonna do it, you got to get it right.
Yeah. Well, we're excited. We can't wait. You mentioned law enforcement. You're such an important advocate, not only for current law enforcement, but also veterans. You do a lot for them. Veterans out there, military, law enforcement. Make some noise if you're a vet, you're in the military, law enforcement, you know somebody. Yeah, such important people in our lives, and I just want to say thank you on behalf of them for everything you do for them.
Man, thanks to them, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. All right, let's do this. We got a lot of fans in line. We want to get to as many questions as possible. So let's start over here. Say your name, first name, and then your question.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Jon. My name is Shay, first of all, and I wanted to preface this by saying my mom can't be here, but she says hi, and she's like your biggest fan.
Hi, Mom. What's her name?
Michelle.
What's up, Michelle?
Thank you. I actually wanted to ask, in your youth you did boxing, and then in college you found your passion for acting. So as a boxer myself, who aspires to be an actor, could you please tell me a little bit about that time in your life and maybe some of the decisions that you may have made to get to where you are today?
Wow, cool question. I mean, look, I think there, you know, as you know, anybody who competes, anybody who steps in between the ropes, you're all by yourself there. I have the utmost respect for anybody who engages in combat sports. It's an exercise in overcoming things, overcoming pain, overcoming fear, challenging yourself. My little man is out here somewhere. He just started boxing, and he's crushing it. You know, look, I think there's so much, not just from boxing, but I think, you know, I played football and baseball in college, and I just think sports in general, you know, teaches you work ethic, teaches you how to be part of a team, teaches you how to grind, how to win, how to learn, how to keep going. So I'm so grateful to all athletics and the lessons that I learned, how to compete, and just how to keep going. I mean, there's no way you can play sports without a whole ton of failure. And I think in this world, the only things that matter are the things you fail at over and over again, but you keep going. And to me now, it's you know, the work that I do, and it's fatherhood, it's family. Just keep grinding, keep pushing. You're gonna bump up against walls all the time, but there's nothing more important.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can clap for everybody after each question. Makes sense. Hey, first name and your question.
Hi, my name is Sanaya, and I was wondering, what's your favorite behind-the-scene moment from shooting The Punisher?
What's up, Sanaya?
Hey.
Hey. My favorite behind-the-scene moment?
Yes.
Shit. Man. Do you remember? Did you watch season 1 with Micro?
Yes.
Yeah. So the guy who played him, his name's Eben. He's on a show called The Bear now, which is an incredible show. He's a great guy. And Eben and I, my first gig ever was understudying him in an off-Broadway play, actually. And he didn't give me the time of day when I understudied him. But when Eben was playing Micro, when we were supposed to say, this is probably a fucked up answer, but I'm in it now. But sorry for the cursing, I'm sorry. I got my own kid out here, so you know, whatever, shit happens.
We'd expect nothing less.
Yeah, but you know, when I was saying goodbye to him and doing like the this big emotional goodbye at the end of the season. He had this idea that when he walked up to his house to go see his family for the last time, he like zipped down his fly and stuck his little finger in there and went like that to say goodbye to me. And I thought it was a brilliant moment, but the folks at Marvel and the people in charge did not think it was good. But I really thought that was pretty funny. But anyway, I thought it was good. You know, it made me laugh.
That was what you were looking for, that story right there,
yeah,
right?
That was
Amazing.
crappy answer.
Thank you for your question, yeah.
Thank you, Sanaa.
Thank you. Yeah. Hey, first name and your question.
Hi, John. My name is Nielsen. I wanted to thank you again for what you do for us veterans and service members. Thank you for giving them a platform and a voice on your podcast. I really enjoy it. It's really special to me. I wanted to ask about your training in the lead up to Fury. I'm just curious what you had to do to get ready for that role, mentally and physically.
Thank you, man. Thank you for your service. You know, look, that's the it's the honor of what I get to do is the folks that I meet along the way and the folks that I get to learn from. There's no community that I've learned more from that have had such an impact on my life than the military community. On that film specifically, you know, David Ayer, the guy who made the film, is a vet who's in the Navy. He took it enormously seriously. It was an 8-month shoot. There's 3 months of pre-production, and in those 3 months of pre-production, we were instructed by a guy named Kevin Vance, who's a Navy SEAL, and a bunch of his teammates came out and ran us through a mini buds course. And then we had 3 months of, you know, everything in that movie. Anytime you see the tank in that movie, my wife's calling, and mom's calling. You know, anytime you see the tank moving in that movie, that's us in the tank moving it. There were no days off. Every exterior, that's normally not the case. It's usually, you know, the shitbag actors usually are like chilling out in the hotel while everybody, you know, all the real folks are moving the tank around. That wasn't that way in that movie. So for the first 3 months, you know, we're sleeping in the tank, eating in the tank, pissing and shitting in the tank. And, you know, they say there's nothing in the world closer than a tank unit, you know? You're enormously close to each other. You know how each other smells, you know how they breathe, you know every joke they're gonna make before they make it. And David really wanted to accomplish that in the film, and I think he did. I'll never forget that experience. They say, you know, there's a line in that movie, it's the best job I ever had. It really was the best job I ever had. You know, and I also want to say with that, we had the unbelievable honor of meeting some real vets from World War II, some real vets from the Armored Division, which is, you know, they're a dying breed, they're the best among us, and that was incredible. I'll never forget it. And yeah, what an honor to be in that movie. So thank you for your question. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. Awesome. Back to this side. First name and your question.
Hi, I'm Jessie.
What's up?
I wanted to ask, so I'm a film student, and I was wondering what you think as an actor are the most important or crucial things that a director can do when working with actors in order to maximize collaboration in the final performance.
Woo, damn,
Yeah,
Texas.
Did you have that written down? Yeah, that was amazing.
Look, you know, Jesse,
Yes.
you know, Jesse, it's a tough question. You know, I've been really lucky with the directors that I've gotten to work with. I've worked with some of the best. I'm really proud of the directors that I've gotten to work with, and they're all so different. You know, from Polanski to Scorsese to Denis Villeneuve to David Ayer, Darabont. You know, I mean, it's just. It's a staggering list, and the thing that I would say about, they're all so unbelievably different. They all do things so differently, from, you know, terrorizing actors to being as nice as can be, to giving you whatever you want, to giving you nothing, to, you know, David Ayer making sure, you know, there's no electronics, no restaurants, no contact with the outside world. There's so many different approaches, but the one thing I'll say that I found that I think is really true, and I think a lot of you here would probably agree, in any line of work that you're in, there's no bigger mark of mediocrity than somebody that tries to control everything that you do. Somebody who knows that they have the right answer. So in any kind of work, some boss that says, hey man, do it like this, I know the right answer. No, you don't. The great way to be a leader, I think, is to let people flourish, is to inspire them to give everything they have, make them feel 100 feet tall and say, go, you're here for a reason. Don't put your head over my shoulder. Don't be creeping around, you know, telling me how to do my job. Let me do my job. And I think when that happens, you know, for me, the great directors, they all pulverize hierarchy on a set. A good idea can come out of anywhere. It's not just like the good ideas have to come from them or the good ideas have to come. It could come from a teamster, it could come from a grip, it could come from an electrician. But let's nurture an environment where anything can happen. And that shows confidence, that shows teamwork, that shows true collaboration. It's the most collaborative thing out there trying to make a movie. What I hate is directors who who are it's like their pookies are tight. You know what I mean? It's like, it's gotta be this way, because this is the way I saw it. It's like, nah, dude, you suck. Like, I know you suck now. You know? The great ones just say, I don't know. Let's see what happens. And let's see if we can make some magic. Let's see if we can surprise ourselves. And they've done the work. And they've picked the right people, so they let everybody go. And it doesn't matter who's got the idea. It doesn't matter if somebody's there one day or it's some movie star. Whoever's got the idea, let's hear it. And I think that that's true kind of across the board, you know?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Any aspiring directors out there? Raise your hand if you're aspiring. Take that advice. That's a great piece of advice right there. Awesome piece of advice. Hey, first name and your question.
My name's Robert.
What's up, Robert?
Cool. So question, how do you get to the point of where you are Frank Castle? There's John, and then there's Frank. How do you psychologically get yourself to put that emotional makeup on?
You know, man, look. Look. You know, you do all, look, I think the way that this thing works, you know, if you think about it, like take on what the character means to the comic book community, how long this character has existed in the hearts and the minds of all you folks, and people who that character's existed in your hearts and in your souls for years, right? That's a responsibility. Then you take the law enforcement community, you take the military. There are people that have gone and fought for our country with that Punisher skull on their uniform. You know, that's emboldened them to go take a walk that very few people will actually walk. So think about what that means. Think about, you know, how important that is. What an honor it is for some shitbag like me to get to play that guy. So when you take all that, you realize then you take the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that are making the show, that are writing the show, that the crew, everybody's there for one thing, and it's all for these few sacred seconds between action and cut. You might work for a year, and then there's only 25, 26 seconds between action and cut where we're really doing it. So you got to do something, depending on the proximity between those sacred seconds between action and cut, to get yourself there. And for me, personally, I got nothing against people that do it, but I can't go eat Chinese food. I can't go out to a nightclub or to a bar and then go play Frank Castle. I can't be in a state of joy and ease when I play that guy. I just can't do that.
So you go method basically.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think that word's bastardized, you know? Man, I lived in Russia, I studied over there. I don't think method acting means, hey man, when you see me, only call me Frank, and I don't change my underwear, and I only eat what Frank's. Right, but I think that like you have to get yourself in a headspace, because it matters. This thing's gotta be vital for you if you're gonna do it, because it means so much to so many people. And for me, like where I studied, the people that I came up with, it just means a lot to me. I was a total, my son's here. I was a total fuck up growing up, but I found this thing and it saved my life. And now I got wonderful kids, wonderful marriage. I get to do what I love. It pays for my house. It pays for, it's a miracle. So I have to honor that every day. So it's not, there's method acting, trying to make everybody in the world know how hard you're working, and I think that that's stupid, right? But there's shit that you gotta do to prepare yourself when you get in proximity to action and cut, depending on what you're gonna do. Yeah, lock it down, man. And that might be 2 weeks before you start. It might be 20 minutes before you start. It might be a year before you start, depending on what you have to do and what the scene is. But I take that vitally seriously, and anytime I start slipping, I remind myself of how important this character is and how important that skull is to so many people, and then I snap right out of it and say, stop fucking around.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much. Is it important to take those cool down moments or those breaks mentally for a character like Frank Castle, or do you just stay in it and then remind yourself?
Yeah, I don't want to cool down when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Before I go home. I mean, that's why I drive. I drive with my dog, so I got my truck and
Yeah.
my dogs to drive home. So that helps. But yeah, no, I mean, like I don't really want to cool down.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, first name and your question.
Hey, my name is Fred. I just want to say thank you for coming.
Thank you, Fred. Thanks for having me, bro.
It's not a question, just me saying thanks. I appreciate your podcast. I appreciate, I work in mental health and behavioral health. Just you bringing men's mental health to the foreground and showing how important it is and being able to talk about, you, man to man, about real shit rather than just men just repressing that. Them being able to talk and have that conversation and that being important. So I appreciate that.
I appreciate you, brother. Thanks for saying that, man. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so much. Hey, first name and question.
Hi, my name is Rowan, and
What's up, Rowan?
I have a friend that couldn't really make it here. He says hi, but
Tell him I say hi too.
my question, both in your work in Punisher and in when you were in Daredevil as well, how do you feel about the juxtaposition between Frank Castle and yourself, or Daredevil and Charlie? The juxtaposition between the character that's written and the person you are, and how have those roles turned you into a different person?
Wow. Yeah, I mean, well, look, Charlie's English, so there's that, right? No, it's fine. No, man, Charlie, you know, look, the reason why I wanted to, I never really had any aspirations to do Marvel stuff, I'm being honest with you. But I saw what Vince was doing and what Charlie was doing on that show, and I was like, yeah, dude, I want to do that, you know? Yeah. Look, I can't really speak for them. It's an honor to work with them. It's an honor to watch them work. It's an honor to be around them. They're real friends for life. For me, I've said it before, before anything else, I'm a father and I'm a husband. Like, that's what I am on this earth. And I don't think there's any way I could play Frank Castle if I wasn't a father and a husband. Like, until you really know what it's like to love someone more than yourself and happily give your life for someone else, you can't begin to really try to understand what it would be like if somebody took them for you, and how horrifying and dark and bleak and the rage that comes when you start going down that road, when you start thinking about that. So yeah, there is Jon in that, you know what I mean? It has to be. I've always said I like to do things that scared me. I've always thought that, something, I'm so blessed that now I get to choose, things kind of come to me, which is insane. But if it scares me, if I'm worried that I can't do it, or if it scares me, if I start thinking about it and I get scared, I'm like, shit, I don't know if I want to touch that. That's exactly what I got to do. And when Frank came to me and my kids were young, I was like, that scared the shit out of me. What started happening to me? And I was like, okay, yeah, I guess I got to go do that.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Great questions so far, Dallas. Keep them coming. Let's do it. Hey, first name and your question.
My name's Mateo, and actually someone took my question, but I just wanted to know if it's weird that people know so much about you. Do you ever run upon a lost BuzzFeed article that's like, hey, Jon Bernthal went to this restaurant at 1600 hours on May 16, 2018. What do you think?
Is it weird to see the coverage of your own self, Jon Bernthal, out in public and people following you on social media and such?
I don't know. Not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what BuzzFeed is. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I don't know.
A reporting.
I live in a super small town. I live up in the mountains, a super small town, and that's kind of what living in a super small town is. My kid could tell you, every time you go out, you know everyone. There's no oh, that's that. I'm just Henry and Billy and Addie's dad. That's who I am in that town. So it's and I coach, teach boxing and stuff. So it's that's, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's a stupid answer. I guess, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Shit.
Now you're going to be looking over your shoulder. You're like, I didn't know people knew where I was going.
No, I mean, I get, man, it's just part of the deal, I guess. And it's I don't know, I see some actors that are like, oh man, it's just too much. I don't know. It's a blessing, man. It's great. You can really connect with people, and I don't think I've had ever a bad experience with running into somebody who knows what I do and respects my work. What a blessing that is, and how great, what an unbelievable, moment for connection there. And
yeah,
it's such a blessing.
You got 2,000 people here that love you for that. So yeah, let's hear it for Jon.
Oh, thanks. I wouldn't even try. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Pop over here. First name and your question.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
What's up, Caitlin?
Hey. First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for all you do for military families.
Thank you.
My husband is actually going to deploy this week, and
Right on.
that was awesome. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I was wondering if you could give us a good Russo yell.
Oh shit, Russo. I don't even know about Russo. How'd you go, Russo? Russo! Hey, go get him, man. Give him hell. Yeah, give him hell.
Thank you. Hey, over here. First name and question.
I would never have done that if he wasn't deploying. Never. I hate it when people ask me to do that.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
That answers the last question. I do hate it when people ask me to do that, and I've never done it before. No, you're all right. I don't mind that you did. And yeah.
But from here on out, delete your questions, everybody. Come on.
Well, it's just like you gotta yell that you draw his attention.
Yeah, no, it makes
I guess
sense.
I'm on stage.
Hey,
Hi John, my name is Alejandro. I wanted to have a question for you.
What's up, man?
Have you kept up with the co-stars from Daredevil and Punisher at all? More specifically, Deborah Ann Wall, who plays Karen Page.
Man, she's the best, man. She's the best. Yeah, she just did a play down in Washington. Strangely enough, this won't be interesting at all to y'all, but you know, back in the day, when I was studying to be an actor, you know, I lived in Russia, and then I went and studied act up in Boston. I had this great theater director from Hungary, and he called me up out of the blue, and he was like, "Hey, there's this woman, Deborah Ann Wall. You know her? She's gonna be in my play in Washington. You know, what do you think of her?" And I was like, "Oh, she's the best." It just made me so happy that they're gonna be together because they're both incredible. Yeah, I mean, I think she's as good as it gets and as smart as it gets, and I really miss her. I would do anything to work with her again.
Could she make an appearance on the Real Ones podcast?
On the Real Ones, you want her?
Hell yeah!
Fuck yeah, all right, yeah, I'll give her a call. Hey, we'll definitely do that.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you, man. Done. Hey, done and dusted, bro. We don't really do that many actors, but shit, if you want it, let's fucking do it.
let's do it. Hey, first name and question.
Hi, my name is Jamal Holmes, and
What's up, Jamal?
Thank you for your answers today. Great answers.
Thanks, man.
Question: do you regret ever turning down a role that you're like after you see the movie or something like that? You're like, man, I wish I would have taken that.
There's one right now that just came out that I haven't even seen it, but I wanted to do it and I listened to the wrong people, and there's one right now that I read. I was like, I gotta do this.
It's the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say because it's out right now, and they should get the attention but there's one that I was like, damn, and it's just, you know, it's just like anything in life, man. You get people around you, and it's, you know, listen to your wife, you know, listen to your best friends, listen to your kids.
Yeah.
Don't listen to, you know, shitbags in suits ever. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thanks. Hey, first name and question.
Hi, my name is Bella.
I like the first high. Go, just be you. You know what I mean?
What made you want to start your own podcast?
Wow, that's a good question. Man. So I guess you know, the genesis was you know, I never really expected or had any desire to be what it is now. I never thought it was gonna grow. I never put any real attention to that. It was really in the wake of George Floyd a couple years ago. I found myself in a really frustrating position and in a place where I was really just kind of like disappointed and disgusted by the state of discourse in this country. I saw what happened with George Floyd, and like so many of us, I was horrified and disgusted. You know, for a million reasons. I've been beat by the police before. I've been incarcerated before. I've had my issues. I was horrified by that. But then I flipped on CNN and I started seeing people throwing bottles at police officers, and people protested. And to me, every single one of those police officers is a mother or father, a brother or sister, somebody's son or daughter, and I was absolutely disgusted by that. And I just felt that as we were getting more and more polarized with this discussion about race and policing, I thought the people that were leading that discussion knew less and less about it. And to me, they were just assholes waving their flags from either side, and I was disgusted. So for me, every time I'd go out and I'd be part of the protest, I'd also go down to Newton Division in South Central, the LAPD, where some of my best friends in the world serve, and I would go and I'd buy them lunch, I'd go down and spend some time with them. And it dawned on me that if we're going to talk about these issues, we should talk to people who are actually involved with those issues. We should talk to people who actually have boots on the ground. So my first episode was my friend Jerry Ballesteros, who's this legendary crash unit officer from LA, won a Medal of Valor. A partner was killed by a rolling 60s Crip, and he's revered by the LAPD, and he's revered by the community. And then I also had a guy who runs a gang down in South Central, who's also revered by the community and does a ton of good stuff for his community. And the thing is those two institutions, they're right next to each other, and they've been battling for years. But I felt if you talk to those two, the cop could talk to people, the cop could talk about people on the other side that he respected. He could talk about people that he thought were good people. This gang leader, he could talk about people in the police force that he really respected and really served the community. And I felt that because I knew them so well, that they'd probably finish each other's sentences, that they'd probably laugh at the same shit, respect the same shit. And I just thought, look, if we're gonna talk about these kinds of things, race and policing, let's talk to people who actually have the ability to empathize with the other side, because they're actually seeing it, they're touching it, they're dealing with it day in and day out. Both of those people could also look at their own community and they could tell you what's wrong with it. The cop telling you what's wrong with his community. Gang member talking about what's wrong with his community and the people that he doesn't believe in. And it was beautiful. And that's kind of where it all started. And then it's kind of just evolved in to having people up there, special forces soldiers, surgeons, teachers, coaches, all kinds of people, but the people who really walk the walk, they don't just talk about it. And they're the exact kind of people I want my kids learning from. Again, not pundits or experts or actors, but folks who really do it, and folks who are really respected by their own community. So again, they have the ability to not only see the other side, but know the other side. So that's kind of how it all started, and that's why we're still doing it today.
Thank you.
I'm sweating.
It's hot up here. It's hot up here. It's hot up here.
I'm the asshole who brought a hoodie to Dallas.
Sure to take it off in the front row there. All right. Hey, first name and your question.
Hey, John. My name is Parker. And to follow up on the podcast question, my question was, is there a specific moment that you'll never forget, or a specific interview that you'll never forget?
Yeah, man, there's a lot. I'm better for each one, man. Each one is such a blessing. I mean, look, most of the folks that have come on are really dear friends of mine, and if they weren't before, they are now. That first one, getting Jerry and Bo, that one really blew my mind. But we had Richard Fierro on. He was the guy who broke up the Q nightclub shooting, the mass shooting. He went and, beat the tar out of the shooter, took his gun from him, disarmed him, an Army vet. You ask yourself, all of us, sadly, we've all probably asked ourselves, what would we do in that situation? What would we do if our family was there? And he did it. He really did it. He ran towards the gunfire, not away from it. There's a guy, we had one with a guy in the Marine Corps who really kind of lost his way. He developed this unbelievable anti-Islamic views, and he got home, he was kind of spiraling out of control, and he built a bomb to put in an Islamic center, blow it up. And when he went there, he was met by this woman who runs the center, and she welcomed him. She kneeled at his feet. He had the bomb built. She welcomed him into his house. She started feeding him. They got enormously close. Now he's the president of that Islamic center. And they're enormously close. Beautiful documentary, Stranger at the Gate, that's about that now. So seeing that kind of love, it's a big thing that comes over and over again in the podcast. Only those that have really been in the valley have the ability or the power to lift others out of it. So it's one of the things you'll see with pretty much anybody that I have on there. They've really been through it. They don't just talk about it. They don't know somebody who has. They've really been through it, and they've lifted themselves up, and now all they do is lift others out. And I think that's beautiful. I think it's one of the most beautiful things a human being can do, and I want to celebrate it. And I think we need more of that. I think our kids need to hear more of that, because no matter how bad it gets, you're not lost. There's always hope. And we're human beings in the greatest country that ever existed. Anything's possible. And so those are just a few.
All right, appreciate it.
Thanks, brother.
Hey. First name and your question.
Hi, my name My name is Nicholas. I just want to come up here and say you're truly an amazing person, an amazing actor. I love The Punisher. My father over there, he loves The Punisher.
Thank you, man.
It's an honor to meet you, and I believe you deserve your own Punisher movie.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Who wants a Punisher movie out there?
Appreciate you, man. Tell your pops I say what's up.
Thanks for your comment. Hey, back over here.
Hi, John. My name is Heather.
Hey, Heather.
So my husband Frank is military and a huge Punisher fan, a fan of you as Punisher, whereas the only thing about him that I know is that he shares the same name as my husband. So how would you pitch the show to me as like a viewer who's never seen the show? Sway me, John. Sway me.
Sway you? I mean, listen to your husband. He likes it. You should like it. Why not watch it together? You never know what will happen. I think that's a big misconception that there's like art for, different kinds of people. There's art for blue states or red states, art for men, art for women, art for Republicans, art for Democrats. I think that's like a whole big bunch of bullshit. I think, my approach with Frank Castle is, look, he's definitely a man. I think maybe people sort of attribute these sort of uber masculine things to him, but I would argue that being sensitive, being kind, and going through pain, and struggling, and having empathy, and having dignity, and having integrity is just as masculine as rage and power and strength, and that's the Frank that's the only kind of Frank that I'm trying to play, you know what I mean? And honor his pain, that's really what it is. So I think it's a character study. I think it's a celebration, and it's hard hitting, but mostly I think if your husband digs it, you married your husband, so you probably, you know what I'm saying?
Watch it tonight.
There you go.
Yeah,
Look at that. Start with Daredevil, man. They wrote it better. Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, question over here.
Hi, my name is Taryn.
What's up, Taryn?
So my question is kind of ridiculous. So when you were on The Walking Dead, I don't know if you know that this became a big joke, but when you played Shane, you rubbed your head a lot.
I'm aware.
Was that planned, or was that just like a habit, or?
Yeah, look, I mean, I think if you develop like these, they're called like psychological gestures, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes you plan them, sometimes they just happen. I like it when they just happen, but then you find something that just works for a certain character. And I don't know if you noticed, but as he was spiraling more and more out of control, he did it more and more and more and more. And a big part of it was, the shame of this scar on his head, and the shame of what happened. So it always would kind of go up there whenever it would kind of come up. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to it's crazy what we do. I'm sure it's the same with a lot of your work. It's like there's like two lines you got to take. There's like the preparation, right? The busy work. You got to learn the accent. You got to learn the skill. If he's a soldier, you got to learn the weapons. You got to learn the job. If he's a tennis coach, you got to learn tennis. You got to learn the walk. You got to do that busy work. But then there's like this other part of it. That's like the inspiration, where like your soul starts working, and where something higher or something from your life starts inspiring what you do, and you got to try to blend the two. And I've always found that the harder you work in one, the more you give yourself an opportunity to nurture the other. And the whole point is you got to work hard in order to forget it, right? So some of this stuff is like completely unplanned, and that's where you want to get to. The problem is then you got to be super wary not to rub your head when you're playing somebody else. You know what I mean? So I got to be real careful about that one. I catch myself sometimes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey everybody, we're getting towards the end of our panel. We got about 6 minutes left, so we'll do a couple more on either side. First name and your question.
Hey John, my name's Chase. Appreciate you being here.
Appreciate you.
I had a Walking Dead question as well. I know you mentioned playing the character of Shane, kind of saving your life, just being at the point you were in. I did have a quick, light hypothetical for you though. If things would have gone differently for Shane and he's leading Rick's group, how do you think he would have interacted with Negan once they hit a crossroads?
Oh, no, I think he would have killed Negan. Yeah. Shane was not messing around.
No.
Yeah, he was not messing around.
Look out, you got Nika and 2 people behind you over there. So.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. All right. First name and your question.
Hey, my name is Jacob, and I do some Walking Dead content on social media. And I was just going to ask you, like, why do you think Shane is so popular after all these years, despite only being in the first 2 seasons?
I just think he was the first one to get it, you know what I mean? He was the first one to understand what that world was, you know, and what great writing by Frank Darabont to figure that out, you know? It was all, you know, perfectly mapped out, you know? There's that scene where he's beating Ed by the river, you know? He puts his hands on him, he hits him again, and you can see it. It's like, he's like, you know what, man, I could just fucking keep hitting you, dude. And there's nobody's gonna do a damn thing about it. There's that discovery, oh shit, the world's changed. And then he's tracking the gun on Rick in season 1, and he gets him in his crosshairs, and he's like, shit, I could actually just kill you, and nothing would really happen. So he was the first one to start figuring out that the rules were different, and then, you know, leads to Otis and leads to everything that happened. But it was all, you know, it was such a blessing for me because it's very rare that you get to play a part that has a beginning, middle, and end, and there's so many buoys along the water of your character's journey that makes so much sense and are so well written and so well executed. But he was the first one to figure it out, so it's like it's easy to go back now and say, man, Shane was right. Like if you go back, me and my son are my oldest. We're watching it right now. I'm like, damn, that motherfucker was right.
Awesome, thank you so much. Thank you. You mentioned the original character and the writing, but I think I could speak for everybody by saying I think Shane's so popular because of your amazing performance in that character.
Thanks.
Yeah, and that's what we always, when we think of Walking Dead, we think of Shane. We think, you know, back in the beginning there. Love it. Hey. Hi.
Hello, my name is Braxton, and my question is, so not only throughout all your roles you've had some acting prowess, but some of your roles demand some physical prowess as well. So my question is, what is probably the hardest fight scene you've had to do throughout your career?
Hard, I love that. I mean, the fighting and the athlete, I mean, I was an athlete first and a fighter first, so that stuff comes actually a lot easier to me than the acting, so I love it. It's not, I mean, it's hard physically sometimes. You know, I busted up my hand in Punisher real bad. I tore some ligaments and I broke it and I dislocated it. So it was like 3 different injuries over 3 different days. And that's why, you know, we wrote in that I got shot in my hand and I had to do everything left-handed. So that, I guess that was hard, you know, but I mean, like, that stuff is, I love that stuff, man. It's not, you know, having a scene where I gotta like break down and cry and that to me is much harder. Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Hi, my name's Amanda. I really loved your performance in The Bear, and I was just wondering how your approach to a role that was so small and succinct and amazing.
That's so sweet. I wish I had a better answer, but honestly, that same dude, Evan, the guy who wouldn't talk to me when I was understudying him, he called me up and said, man, I'm on this amazing show right now. I really think
Character is the best.
he's the best, man, and he's a brother. Like, I love him. I love his family. And he called me up and said, look, I'm on this incredible show. I need you to play this role. And I said, look, man, I'm shooting a show in LA. They were shooting in Chicago. They all flew out to LA and we shot that during my lunch break. I didn't read it. I didn't have time. I said, look, man, I can show up. I can give you guys an hour and a half. They extended my lunch break. They gave me the lines. When I got there, I read them in the trailer. I read that story. I had no idea what that was. So I wish I could say I prepared some amazing thing, but I didn't. I just kind of showed up and did the scene, and they were all so good. And I just went back. Oh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it. Anyway, yeah. But no, it's a great show. I'm super proud of it. Yeah, what it is.
All right, let's just do one question here and one question there, and then we'll wrap things up. Sorry to everybody who's still online.
You want to just do like one word answer so everybody can get their question?
Yeah, you want to do it rapid fire?
Yeah, just
all right. Let's do it, everybody. Here we go. Rapid fire. Let's go.
Hey, John. I was like watching a podcast a couple weeks ago about you and Shia LaBeouf, and I really loved how you were there for him after a rock bottom. What is your advice for somebody going through a rock bottom? Because I've been living with depression for the past like 7 years, and I just want to know what your advice would be.
Man, you think it's a curse? It's actually a blessing, man. Once you hit it, it's a blessing because that's when you're going to start changing, man. Just realize that there's an opportunity in that.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Hi, Skyler Hill. Thanks for coming. My idea is, would you ever see yourself working with a Captain America film? Because the fact is, Frank Castle always did have a deep respect for him.
For who?
Captain America. Would you?
Oh,
Frank Castle's Captain?
yeah, why not?
Why not? Boom. Yeah, there you go. Awesome. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Miranda. My question is, how did you find out Shane was getting killed off, and how did it make you feel?
Always knew it was coming. I had a different idea for it. I was really bummed that they didn't let us do the idea that we wanted to do, but it's part of the deal. I figured just my luck, man. Finally got on a show. It's a hit show. Now I'm killed. I thought that was the end of everything, to be honest with you. So I was sad. I was really sad. I'm not gonna lie. But now it's an absolute. It's a total blessing. You know what I mean? Thank you.
All right, we got Daredevil over here now.
Hey, my name's Andrew, and I just wanted to say, man, you've been a major inspiration, I'm sure, for a lot of people here. I've been watching the real ones for a long time, and I'm just following your work. You're really inspirational, and I was wondering if I could give you some gifts. I got some grapefruit and some double bubble.
Fuck yeah. Come on, man.
Come
on up, bro.
All right, yeah, why don't we start? We start over here at the same time.
All right. Hi, I'm Steve, and in the comic books, Punisher kills the Marvel Universe, and I'm just wondering, who do you think would be the most difficult member of the Avengers, or really any group, to kill?
I put my money on Frank.
There you go. Frank's your answer.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
All right, let's do this. John's being awesome, and we're going to get to the final questions here. Let's do it.
Question. What was the hardest fight scene that you ever had to do?
Yeah, I think we got it.
Shit, they ain't hard. I mean, like the prison, maybe. The prison was, we didn't have a lot of time. We only had half a day. Like after lunch, I was pissed that we couldn't get to it before lunch. So that was hard, you know what I mean? To get it all good.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Awesome. Prison. All right, final question on this side, and I think we got two more over there.
Hi, so there's been a lot of talk about the connection that you have had with playing Frank Castle. But what I wanted to know was if you and Frank, as separate people, were in the same room to say anything to each other, what would you want to say to him?
Shit. I don't think I don't know, man. I don't know. I think, like, you need anything, man? I don't know. I don't know what I would say to him, man. I probably wouldn't. I'd just probably let him be.
I think that's it. It's just asking if he's cool. You know what I mean? All right, let's do it.
Hi, my name is John. My brother Timothy is a cosplay as Captain America. In a fight, who would win? Punisher or Captain America?
Oh, Punisher. Yeah, easy one.
I don't know. My friend Captain America, he said he could win.
All right. Next question, let's do it. Two more, let's go, rapid fire.
Hey, sorry, I have to crouch.
No, you're good.
Hi, my name's Jose. I actually just wrapped production on the new Walking Dead show, and I got to spend a lot of time with Andy and the gang, and I was just wondering if you kept in contact with him or any other of the crew members from the original show.
Absolutely. They're family, man. They're family. Yeah. Everybody, the entire cast, the crew, just worked with David Boyd, who was the DP. Look, I can't tell you how much I learned from Andrew Lincoln, man. Not only did I learn so much from him as a number one, as a leader, he was a young father and husband right at the time where I was getting married and starting to have kids. I learned my whole philosophy about balancing the two from him. Andy once said that, his party, his wilding out, his getting crazy, it's work. He saves it all for work. He said, work is my disco, and I have so much respect for that. All the shit that used to get me in so much trouble on the streets, all the shit that used to wind me up in all kinds of trouble, all the kind of bullshit, I put it all into my work, and then I put everything else into my family. And I learned that from Andy, and I'll always be grateful to him. He's always going to be right in the center of my heart, as will everybody from that original show. It's as special as it gets. There's a reason why there's so many of those shows, and that's because of the ethos and the culture that was created by that first group.
Thank
That's
you
awesome.
so much.
That's awesome. All right, let's do this last question.
All right, hey John, my name's Yaver. I just had a quick question for you. I don't know if someone's asked this already, but be it from any movie or TV show you've worked on, Baby Driver, Wolf of Wall Street, or The Punisher, do you have any one story that you keep with you wherever you go? Like favorite on-set story?
A million, man. I mean, how do I do that quick?
I don't know. Something like really crazy that happened one time.
I don't know, man. I mean, so many things, bro. What's the first? You ever see? You probably didn't see it, but I did something called We Own the City like last year, maybe like a year before. It's like a HBO show, and I was playing police officer in Baltimore, and it was during the Freddie Gray uprising, and I was supposed to go out and like tangle it up with a few of the guys in the uprising, and it was shot in the real place where that happened. And while we were doing it, there was a guy who was actually running from the real police and saw me roughing up some guys, so he came up, and all of a sudden there was a new guy that I hadn't seen before after we'd done like 30 takes, and he swung at my head, blocked it with my shield, and I thought he was, because I had a riot shield, and I thought he was an extra, but I was like, this motherfucker just swung at my head, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna let him have it if he wants to do that, and I had it, I like split his eye open, and he fell down on the ground. And then they said, cut. And then afterward, he was all bleeding and shit. And then he gave me a big hug. He's like, damn, you go hard. Like, okay, you're going. Like, and then the police started running on, and then he ran. And so that was always like, that's Baltimore.
That's a good story.
Yeah,
great stories, great answers, great advice. Please give it up for Jon Bernthal.
For me, photo op time. Oh, he starts at 3. We're just running here.
Look, we're really sorry, Split. Some of the guys wanted to get pizza, and I tried to talk about it.